Hello, hello. It says I'm live. I don't know if I'm live, though. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody see me? Y'all can see me? Good, because I can't see myself. All right. Who can see me? Someone tell me if you could see me. Okay, you can see me. Good. How's it going, everybody? Good morning, afternoon, and good evening. It's chilly here in San Diego. Not chilly like East Coast chilly, but like 60 degrees chilly. So I'm in my long sleeve shirt for the first time of the year. Thank you, Cordelia. I appreciate you. All right. So I got to pop out this chat so I can pull it up over here. Thank you, Julia. You're awesome. If I can discuss revision, that'd be great. That was the question. Pop out chat. Let's pop out this chat. Pull it right up over here. All right. Cool. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So first I just want to say thank you all for coming out or pressing a button to come and see me. This is going to be pretty cool. I've never done one of these before, just a live Q&A, but I think that a lot of people get most benefit from just legit asking questions. So that was kind of the mindset behind this. I want to be able to get, answer as many questions as I can in the best way possible. I feel like I said, there's not a lot of ways out there that this can happen. Thank you, Asa, that questions can get answered regarding this content. So I think that's really important. I have just a few announcements if I didn't remove and delete everything. Okay. So first of all, guys, this is really cool. The first thing I want to say is that someone asked me to be on the radio. So after the last stream that I did, I got a call or I got an email from someone or a message, and they're going to put me on the radio. I'm going to be on FM radio. So more information about that coming soon. It'll be taking place in October 11th, which is really cool. So everyone has to tune in, obviously. Another thing is that the VIP program is basically good to go. Now there's the community that is fully active. So if you register, you can get in the Discord community. It's basically a limited community, but it's moderated and only on manifesting. So that's really, really cool. So totally, I'll give some shout outs later about that. And that's just the VIP. If you didn't know about that, that's just essentially month by month basis, like bi-weekly, either class or Q&A. And get to interact with me, and then the community alongside where you go in and talk to each other, and I'll be there obviously as well. So that's really cool. And then if you had an issue with that, if you were signing up, I know a lot of you already signed up, but if you did have issues with that and it's from the payment thing like Stripe, then I'm working on the PayPal stuff now. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, so make sure you hit that like button. Definitely. The last workshop that I did was 3 hours long. That thing's got like 30,000 views. That's insane. And like the retention is like all the way through the workshop, which is really crazy. That means that people are really listening. So I don't know. It makes me really happy. And then I put something in the description as far as the VIP, but also for Sam, he basically helped me do a lot of the Discord stuff for the chat, and he's been really helpful in this whole process of manifesting. So I have his links underneath below. He has his own channel and stuff like that. So check that out. Subscribe to him. So, okay, so let's just jump into the Q&A then. The first question that I heard that I want to talk about is just revision real quick, because Julia asked. So revision is basically... it's a way that is essentially changing the past. Now, here's the thing about the past, right? There's actually, like, in real life, there's no such thing as the past because everything exists now. Think about it for a second. Apparently, there's this eternal window of the past, like this eternal, infinite time in the past. But you cannot actually, step back, take a second and try to step into the past. If it's this eternal space that we can step into, just like the future, take a step into the past. You can't. But the thing about revision is that we hold the truth in our mind. So our mind is the operant power. We hold our experience in place, which means that if we have experienced some good event in the past, if we've experienced some bad event in the past, according to us, then if that is in our memory, then it will stay put. Which means if I argued with someone and it bothers me, then I will continuously hold that paradigm in place because it is alive in my memory. So the past only exists in the now, in our mind. So if we go in and we do a scene that alters the past, if we alter those scenes, if we create new scenes of the past, then it will change that paradigm or that belief or that idea or that memory in our mind, and then the world will shift to make that true. Because the past is not some infinite, eternal space that we cannot step into, right? There is nothing. This is only eternal now. But it exists in the mind. So if we go in and create a scene, modify a scene, add a scene to the past, imagine it in first person, modify the negative events, or add positive events, then we will effectively change that paradigm in our mind, that memory in our mind, and we will then become or manifest the world to become a different world. So if, for example, take even further example, the person who I argued with, if I imagined that we never argued, now that's a hard one because I remember the argument, but if I add a different ending to that argument, a hug to that argument, it's all good, that to the argument, then what will happen in reality is you plant that seed now contains that end result, which is, all right, it's all good, don't worry about it, or whatever. And then the world will shift, and the person who I argued with will come to that conclusion. They will not care. So something will change inside of them so that they will become that person. Does that mean that they will not remember the argument? No, that does not mean that. But what it means is that they will become this new person. And if your scene says that they don't care about the argument, then that's what will become. They will have no anger regarding it anymore. So I hope that makes sense. All right. Can you make your blogs transcripts to be impressed? You have them like a notebook. Also, your videos. I don't know what you mean by blog transcripts. The blogs is a transcript. How would you get out of a state of lack when you've been in that state for a long time and it seems like it's all you know? So I can relate to that. I had, if you know a little bit about my story, I was really screwed for a long time. I was in and out of treatment facilities for about 8 years. I for an accumulated time of 1 entire year in treatment facilities or more. I was poor. I had nothing. I had no friends. I kept building things up and putting them and then breaking them down. that was my entire existence. And then before that period, I was not a happy person. I was a miserable person, which manifested into that lifestyle. So if you are stuck in a repetitive cycle of negativity and you do not see yourself out of that, if you have never been able to see yourself out of that, if you have trouble with finances, health, relationships, happiness in general, peace, you manifest yourself out of it. You don't have to there's nothing crazy that's going on with manifesting, but what you have to do is while you imagine, you must put aside that. You must put aside those beliefs temporarily. You must imagine yourself as that free, happy person. You must imagine yourself as that financially free, happy person in a relationship who is expressing their gratitude for their life. That's the way. You just keep repeating that process. You break it down into little things that you want. You keep imagining them. It doesn't matter what existed in the past. None of that matters. You just need to play pretend in your imagination, enter into that scene in first person point of view, and then you will become eventually that person, whether it's overnight or a month or a year's time. You will change. And the thing is at first when I did this process, my life changed drastically. I wrote down all the things that were weighing me down, and then I manifested the opposite, which is the better, as if those were removed. And at first, it changed my life completely, like within days, weeks, months, and like a year. And then after that, we start even adapting more to life, and then we just keep changing more. We should never be in a place of stagnation. We should always move forth toward the bigger and better. At the end of your first video on revision, you said revision works pretty quickly, but it can also take long sometimes. So the thing about manifesting is that time is not a thing. There is no time is not a factor. The factor is the events that have to take place, they take place. And then once they're done taking place, it happens. So it could be instantly. It could be in a day, a week, a month. And that's with every manifestation. How to imagine. Yeah, I just said that stuff. Okay. Varun. Hey, what's up, buddy? Good to hear from you. I'll respond to your email later. Playing pretend is really powerful. You spoke about manifestation logs, trackers, journals in your essential video. Would you consider doing a video on these methods? Absolutely. In fact, that is an upcoming thing is I will be going through my day. So that way, in a sense, my day. So that way I can show you literally what I do. Right? Like actually, not just telling you, but showing you. I don't have my journal in here with me. I don't have my journal in here with me, but that I will show you. Let me see. How many days should we listen to newly created mind injection tapes? Thank you. James, the tapes I would listen to it's interesting. What I do is I listen to them for a few days in a row, whether it be 2, 3, 4. And then what happens is the effects of them should be taking place rather quickly. Excuse me. For me, I did one recently. The effects started taking place within 2 days, 3 days. But at that point, when you begin to see this, when you begin to experience this, you want to keep going for a while. Here's the thing. It's like, and this goes for dropping the desire, the imaginal act as well. We want to tame the image in our mind, meaning we want to make it natural in our mind. We want it to be a part of us. So the subconscious mind tapes, I listen to 2, 3, 4 nights in a row, usually during the day if I have a few minutes and it's something that I really want. Like say I recorded a tape yesterday if I'm recording a tape, that means I really want something, right? Because I'm taking this action. I'm taking an hour to record, upload, listen, all that stuff. So The next day I may, while I'm going to get my coffee, I'll throw it in for the 5-10 minutes. My tapes are normally like a minute long or 2 minutes long, sometimes longer, but not usually. And then at nighttime that night, I'll listen to it. And then the next day. And then what happens is it will become integrated into your life. Like, you're saturating your mind. When you feel like you don't want to listen to it anymore, you're just like, yeah, I get it. Like, that's kind of how I get. Like, yeah, I feel full. The words that we use to describe these things are very limited, because the thing is we're talking about eternal things. We're talking about things that are dimensionless. So we use words to describe these things, and it does no justice, right? But there's no word. Words are used to describe the objective world, not manifestation. So the best way I can explain it is, I feel full. I feel like I have tamed it. I feel like it's a part of me. And then after that, I will stop for a while, and then maybe I'll do it again. So that's what I do. How do I convince myself to let go if I'm trying to become taller? It feels like I have to visualize every night because it's a more magical manifestation. Again, the objective is to saturate your mind with it, to make it tame or natural in your mind. And that is when I will take a break, right? And then again, if I start feeling empty of it again, I'll do it again. But there's nothing that's more magical than the other. What you'll find eventually, if you stick this out, right? I get the mindsets behind manifesting from beginning, middle to more advanced. At first, you're picking apart manifestations. You're living this world and you see a manifestation and you say, oh my God, that's a manifestation, right? Eventually what you'll find out is that everything is, that you can't separate a manifestation from anything else because there is no separation, right? It may be hard to understand that right now or see that right now, but you will begin to understand when you start seeing interesting things, exciting things, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's a manifestation. The truth is, over time, you'll find that all things, every single thing, you cannot separate a manifestation from a non-manifestation because everything is a manifestation. So the reason I say that is because some of the most miraculous things happen on a regular basis. Like, for instance, the other day, I may have said it in the live stream or I may have said it in a video, but I said it rains, right? It rains for a few minutes. So San Diego, it's been clear skies for like the last, 9 months. It maybe have rained a couple times, and then it rained again, like the other night for a few minutes. You'll find that all things are subject to the imagination, we look at the carnal world, the physical world, and we move it and we say that seems a little bit more logical because it's not magical. But growing and moving something on the outside are equally as magical or equally not as magical. So I hope that makes sense. Say a seed planted 12 months ago hasn't manifested yet. How do I know if the 12 months are the bridge of incidents or that seed wasn't planted rightly in the first place? That's a good question. Generally, the way that I see, like I observe the world. I'm not really immersed in the world. Well, that's the objective anyway, is to be able to always have an overview of the world. So this is one of the manifesting mindsets. This is like the awareness mindset. Whereas before, there was only the world and we were only in the world. Once we manifest, we pull back from the world. We imagine the world in a different way. And if we're lucky, we can stay back so that we don't react to the world. When it comes to bridge of incidents, what I do is I observe the world for the past 12 months. I know the way that the world is going. I can already see by month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, if this thing is moving towards my end. I can usually see. Sometimes you don't see. Sometimes we're completely unaware that we're moving towards our end. And we're like, I don't understand what's going on. But in those cases, everything's moving perfectly to align to bring your manifestation forth. But when we have that overview, we can know, like, okay, I see things starting to move what I would consider in that direction. I remain faithful to that. I know that that's true. Like, for instance, the 100K subscriber thing, really funny. Like for me, that was like a fun, I don't really care. Like, I don't really care about 100K subscribers. It doesn't really matter to me so much. But nevertheless, I was doing it for fun. But over the last 6 months, you can watch the way things have moved. If I took a step back from YouTube for a couple days, I will get a spike in my growth. Like the other day, like 600 subscribers in like a day, and I didn't post. Like, I only posted like every few days. Like, I pulled back. So it's like, you watch and you see like, okay, when I relinquish my control, are things moving in the proper direction? Yes. Is this going to do what I want it to do? Yes. Let me see this. How to grow a YouTube channel with your imagination. I think I just answered that kind of, but the idea is, like me, I didn't ask for a YouTube. I actually didn't want to do a YouTube. I fought against a YouTube channel. It was the last thing I wanted to do, literally, literally. Someone told me to make one, someone who had a channel, who had tens of thousands of subscribers. And I said, no, F that. For me, this was a manifestation, right? So I can't comment to exactly the growth. Is it from the fact that this was all manifestation from the beginning, or was this because I impressed 100,000 subscribers? So what I did was I imagined, this is after, right? This is when my channel was there. I imagined having the plaque that they send you for 100,000, and then I fell asleep while imagining it. And in my imaginal act, in my dream, a gold plaque appeared, which I didn't even know what that was, but that means 1 million. So I didn't even know that at the time. But so that's it. That's all I did ever. I don't really mess with it. Sometimes I'll think about it, but I don't really care that much. I think that's a big part, is not caring. What's the difference between acknowledging and reacting? Reacting has an emotionally charged feeling behind it. Observing or acknowledging is just looking at it. Since we create our reality, there's no such thing as the universe testing us, right? Well, the universe is inside of you. God is inside of you. You are the operant power of your own world. So you answered your own question, but yes. What is the most common mistake people manifesting their specific person? There's a couple. What I've seen is getting caught up with third parties, whereas all you have to do is never even consider a third party. You go to the end and only the end. Another thing is manifesting middle events. That's a big mistake. It causes a lot of pain and heartache, and not dropping it and then not working on yourself in the interim. The obsessive thoughts that are generated or triggered by a specific person are often result of some belief inside of you that you are not looking at. This has happened to me before. When I say you, I include myself. I would imagine the end with a person, not considering why I was having these obsessive, anxious thoughts. So I thought the solution was just having the specific person, but what about before? What about when I was worried, jealous, anxious, insecure, all of those things, right? Those come from something else. That's the belief that's generating those thoughts. If we do not fix those by creating new assumptions or removing old beliefs, then we will manifest those results of those negative thoughts over and over. So to sum that up, and this should be looked at in everything, when we're trying to fill a void with a person, when really we're just insecure, we want to fix those insecurities by manifesting them removed. And then it doesn't matter what we do. We manifest a specific person. That's fine. But we need to get rid of those things. Thank you, M. What will be a good affirmation who doesn't want to commit for manifesting a specific person who doesn't want a committed relationship with you and wants to stay single due to his personal issues? So you are looking too close. None of that matters, right? You only go to the end. What's the end result? You can answer that yourself. You never consider the means. The facts are worthless in this case. Like, facts mean nothing. It's only what you want. If you can imagine properly what you want, then it doesn't matter anything else. What to do when you have been imagining for a while and your manifestation has not happened in over a year? I keep imagining. The thing is that everything manifests eventually, right? It really does. Now, we should consider, do I have any negative limiting beliefs that could be messing this stuff up? We look at those. Again, that's what I was saying before with manifesting a specific person. Yeah, I just want to touch upon this again with Grace. Thank you, Grace. The YouTube channel, I just thought about this. The whole thing was I had to want it. And your desires are best when you actually care about what you're doing, in the sense. Like, if I've imagined things in the past and it hasn't, and they would come and then they would fail, they would come and then they would fail. And I realized that it's because that's not what I really wanted. So in the sense of like business-wise, I had manifested marketing businesses, software businesses, web development businesses, all these things. And they would just work and then they would fall apart because I didn't really care. I didn't really want it, right? I grew to care and love teaching. I mean, I've always taught manifesting, right? That's just what I've always done. But this is just an extension of myself. So I think it really perfectly aligns together in like this growth, I don't know though, but I just wanted to throw that out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How can I get rid of social anxiety and depression? I wasn't able to finish school because of it. I'm now 19 and I feel lost. Please help me. Again, I know it may sound helpless. I mean, like I get where you're at. Like I mean, yeah, I totally get where you're at. The key is really to outline the person that you want to be. Who do you want to be? What would that person look like? What would that be? What would that person be doing? What would they feel? What type of interactions would they have? What type of social circle would they have? Thanks, Linda. What would that person be doing if you could be that person, right? What type of job would you have? What type of opportunities would you have? What type of fun would you have? See, here's the thing. Even if you dropped out of school, I dropped out of college. Doesn't matter. You manifest. None of that shit matters. Like, yes, it's good. Don't drop out of school because I'm saying this. Obviously, don't take it to the extreme that way. But what I'm saying is you can still do anything that you want. But if you want to be a sociable person, if you want to be happy, if you want to be successful, then imagine yourself that way. Outline. I'm not talking about think it. Outline it on a piece of paper and start imagining it. If you start imagining it, doesn't matter what happens in the past, doesn't matter what you're afraid of, it doesn't matter any of that stuff. You outline the solutions to your problem. You outline the character of the person that you desire to be. Now, this goes not just for people with anxiety, but people who want to be successful, happy, joyous, free. Outline who you want to be and imagine yourself as that person. That's what I did. And it worked. I went from doomed to this, which is cool. Like, I love doing what I'm doing. I'm happy. I'm joyous. I'm free. My finances are taken care of. It's all good. Linda, can you do a guided manifestation video someday? Yes. Yes, I will actually. I've been kind of planning that out in the way, and it'll be different than you've probably ever heard it. More power. Did I miss anybody? No, I don't think so. What is your take on individuals with schizophrenia who hallucinate and visualize a different world? Are they living in their end? Does their world manifest for them? I don't have an answer to that question because I do not know anyone that is like that. So I've never had any experiences with that. I'm sorry about that. Mental diet. Yes, mental diet is important. If we have dropped the seed, can we imagine again? I do sometimes. Depends on what it is. But I imagine, and then I let go, and then maybe down the road again, whether it be a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, depending on what my desire is, I will imagine it again. But you do want time between the time you imagine and the time you imagine again. But the goal is to tame, to really integrate that into your mind. Breakthrough with 2 big manifestations. The bridge is unfolding. Should I continue imagining? So here's what she says. She has a breakthrough with 2 big manifestations. The bridge is unfolding. Should I continue imagining? I would definitely at nighttime continue to imagine seeing it unfold. But here's the thing. I wouldn't obsessively do it because it's already in motion. If you never imagined again, it will come to pass. But if it makes you feel okay to do that, just don't obsessively do it. We want to intermittently imagine, essentially, but we want to tame that imaginal act in our mind. You've already done that if it's already coming to pass. Technically, you don't have to do anything at this point. It's going to come. It will come. If I can reject... hold on, where'd that one go? Can you talk about hypnotic induction you used to do? I talk about it all the time. Oh, the deep one. I just used to be, I used to imagine myself so this is what I used to do. Before I used to imagine myself in some type of lobby somewhere, like some big open wide space that was epic and you could see space. Something cool, something that relaxes me, something that I was familiar with. I would go up to the bar and I would drink, but I would drink manifestation juice or something like that. I would metaphorically drink something that's going to help me imagine, manifest, increase my power. Then I would go into an elevator and go down the elevator all the way down, and then I would end up at a door, and I would take out a key and open that door, and it would be my subconscious mind, and then I would go in and I would imagine. So I can manifest. That was actually my induction that I used to do a lot. How's it going now? Is it freezing still? I'm gonna let me just look at my 1 second. Y'all got to tell me if it's still frozen. All right, let me take a look and see if I can, let me go to the settings real quick. So bear with me. I'll still stay with you guys. No worries. Just let me do this real quick. Let me look. Stream settings, low latency. Too bad I can't change it anymore. That's weird. I think what I'm gonna do is, let me close this out. It's freezing. How is it going now? It's good. Okay. I think I figured out what it was. You guys tell me if it freezes like hardcore. Okay. Cool. I think it was because I had one of my YouTube, I had the live stream open on another window, which means it was probably loading and I'm streaming at the same time. So it probably was like, messed up. So, okay. All right. My SP and I are friends, and I would like to get back into a relationship. Imagine the end. How do you manifest an imaginary person created from your desires? I've done this before by accident. I had a book I was writing down in my book, and then the person manifested 2 months later. So I did it by accident. It was a complete freak accident, but they manifested. Vanessa, thank you. I just wrote the person. I wrote it down. I didn't even think about manifesting the person. I wrote it down and then they manifested. Can we do multiple scenes for one desire? I do sometimes. And sometimes I really hammer it really hard. I'll do like a bunch of different techniques on one thing, but I'll only do that in the course of like a couple days. And then I let it go. So certainly as long as it's after the end. I would love to know how to manifest sales, clients, business success. You imagine, so that stuff, if that's what you want, all you have to do is know what you want, right? So what's the results? Ask yourself this question. What results do you wish to experience? What results do you wish to experience? Right. So in the tense of, so clients, money, all that stuff is really cool. And sometimes I do that, right? I'll imagine like specific numbers and things like that. But the lifestyle that you want is a lot more feeling. It's a lot more, you can feel it better. So I sometimes go to the results after that, right? That's normally what I'll do. I'll go to the results after that. Could you explain I remember when technique? So the remember when technique is when you imagine, so it's essentially when you say, I remember back when I wasn't a billionaire, right? So what you're saying is that now I am not. So when you said, I remember when I was not a billionaire, now you're saying, that you are one now because you remember when you were not. So it's just another technique on how to express that I remember back when I used to work in the office, right? So literally, from this point of view now, I'm talking about a time when I used to work in an office, right? And now I don't anymore. So that would be a literal manifestation outward. But if we took it to like a different extreme, like I remember when I had 33,000 subscribers, or I remember back when I didn't have 100,000 subscribers, right? That would be another way of manifesting outward that I would have 100,000 subscribers. Prospera. I don't know how to say that name, but thank you. Can I imagine a conversation with my friend that I received my visa smoothly without any interview or further documentation requested? Is that okay? What I would do is that I would not do. What I would do instead is just imagine that you have your visa. That's it. That's what I would imagine. right? And then talking to your friend and saying, I'm so glad I have my visa in an easy way. I've had clients, multiple clients who have manifested visas, who have manifested themselves out of sticky situations, getting themselves into better situations regarding their visa. Can I imagine a conversation with my friend? Oh, I just read that. If I can reject a girl who is trying to manifest me, I will never, ever want to be with her. Can the girl I want reject me as well then? So here's the thing that's interesting about that I can't, like, anyone that I've ever imagined, I have gotten them, right? So it's, or anything as well for the most part, and or the things that I haven't yet, I see the world shifting towards them. So it's an interesting question because the things that I share on the channel are really the straightforward things that I can verify and prove. But my speculation, I've had some experiences where dimensions have changed. Like things have changed. Things existed now that did not exist before. So it leads me to believe that, and because add that to the idea that I've gotten basically everything that I wanted, you start to question, like, is my world always going to be my world? If I want something and someone else doesn't want something, am I going to get it over that person, or are both of us going to get it? So I don't know the answer to that question. All I can tell you is what I know. I've seen reality shift. Stuff appeared that was not there before. I've also gotten everything I wanted. So I don't know how to answer that question, except for I believe that there's more than, I believe that dimensions split at a certain degree, and that people get what they want regardless, because all things are possible. That's what I believe. In whatever way possible, all things will happen, you know? All right. It's really weird. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to move next to the router. This is weird because this has also never happened with me before. So give me a minute. Oh, no voice. Duh. After the win. It's always after the win. If you don't imagine in first person either, then you will consistently give other people your manifestations. And it's just because of the nature of the way that manifestation works. The snapshot is taken of your awareness and then given back to you. So if you're perceiving a third party even if it was yourself, if you're perceiving a third party manifest something, then you will not receive it. A third party, it'll be like 50-50 chance of you getting it or someone else getting it. This doesn't make sense. There's something wrong. Hello. I didn't do anything else. Some people can hear me, and some people cannot hear me. Okay. The point is always imagine the end, always imagine in first person point of view after the end. You imagine after winning. Do not imagine third party, like yourself in third person. And you can actually see in this chat here, I bet you, how many of you have manifested in third person point of view and have had someone else get your manifestation? It's happened to me. It happened to me in the beginning. It's like a beginner's mistake. How can I manifest getting into a university even if my grades are not up to their standards? So you would have to imagine being there already, and then whatever would have to happen in order for you to get there would happen. If you are the only one having free will in your reality, why are we learning law of attraction if you know only you have free will and others are only reflections? I think that you have a couple false premises in there. Not even you have free will during the day. You imagine at night, then you have free will at nighttime when you're imagining, in the morning when you're imagining. But during the day, neither you nor anyone, you are all subject to your imaginal acts. And in fact, other people are also aware. Other people are not reflections, they are aware. But if they are in your reality, if they are not reality, if they are in your experience, then they must act out based on the way that you imagine them. Does that mean that while they're acting out based off the way you imagine them, that they do not have their own thoughts, ideas, moods, attitudes, intentions, desires? No, they do. But within your awareness, they will play the part that you have assigned them, at least to the aspect of which you have assigned them. So for instance, if I imagined you all always to be the best crowd ever, the best viewers, the best friends, the best learners, the best students, then you will play that part. But that doesn't mean you don't have anything else going on in your mind. It doesn't mean you don't have different objectives. It means when you step into my awareness or reality today, when I talk to you, when I post a video, you will act, that aspect of yourself will act based on the way that I have imagined. What does being as specific and as general as possible mean in an imaginal scene? Brilliant question. Very important as well. So we when I so say okay, so say I wanted what can I say about this? Um, Say I wanted like a Mercedes Benz, okay? Say I wanted a Mercedes Benz. Um, I would, if I knew the Benz that I wanted, I would imagine myself in that Mercedes Benz. But where I am, what I'm doing, who I'm with, what I'm wearing, for instance, those are not as important. And so, for instance, if I have a Mercedes Benz, but I'm also imagining myself in a mansion, right, pulling into my mansion, now I've made it very specific. Now it's not just the Mercedes that I'm after. Now for that scene to manifest, it must for the scene to manifest, now I must have a mansion and a Mercedes Benz. So if my desire is the Mercedes Benz, and I'm sorry, I must have the mansion and the Mercedes Benz at the same time because the scene replicates. The scene replicates. So what we do instead is if we want that Mercedes Benz, we can just be in the Mercedes Benz. We don't have to also add the mansion. I don't have to add that I'm with a wife that I don't have yet. Like, we make it as specific as possible with the Mercedes Benz because that's the object of my desire. But then I leave out the rest for infinite awareness to fill in the blanks for me. Are there any books you recommend for people to study to help them with their manifestations? Thank you. Good question. So what I would say is the keys, right? So I want to fill you in on a little bit of background with that. So my background with manifesting is the last place that I looked, the last house on the block was the place that actually helped, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean, I started with the Bible, right? Which I learned a lot. I learned how to manifest in basic terms. That was back in 2011. From there, I left that, and then I came to Napoleon Hill. Then I went to like Abraham Hicks. Then I was at The Secret, just The Secret General. Then I went to Pam Grout. Then I went to Joseph Murphy. Then I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza. And all along the way, testing all of those things. These things have little grains of truth in them, but the number one greatest truth out of all the teachings I've ever studied, which is the systematic way that I put them to the test, is Neville Goddard. So depending on your interest, the more you kind of know about the background of manifesting, the more powerful you become. So the biblical teachings, although I'm not talking about religion here, I'm not talking about like going to church or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is it explains the foundations of manifesting, the I am of manifesting. So in that case, what I would recommend is 5 Lessons by Neville Goddard. I would also recommend Feeling is the Secret. I would also recommend The Law and the Promise. And I would probably recommend Out of This World. And then a lot of his lectures, which I can't cite off of the top of my head because they're so short. I just read a lot of them. But those would be the books that if you want to master manifesting and cut out the nonsense of some of the mainstream stuff, those would be the solution that I would give you in short. Hey, 6699. I already answered that question before, buddy. And by the way, thanks, Linda. You can rewind it after. If you partake in an action with no fear or nervousness, is that you're being moved by God to fulfill your desire? Generally, if you are being moved naturally, then that's an indication that you're going with the flow, which is an indication that you're being moved through your subconscious. Weight loss tips without doing anything. Imagine it. And then whatever happens, if you want to lose weight, you can add clauses to it, but I would just imagine that you've lost weight. And then whatever happens, you'll be compelled to do it. Can we revise so that we never had relationships with certain people from our past? Like a step parent or a specific person. That's interesting. They both have the same first two letters. Can that help with assumptions? I think that's too generic of a question. We can totally manifest whatever we want. We can revise anything we want. But oftentimes, I would recommend, it's usually one little thing that turns into a big snowball effect as far as insecurities, anxieties, all these things. So when I have problems, when I have issues, when I feel pain inside of me, whether it be insecurity, jealousy, anything like that, I automatically say to myself, I don't like the way that feels. I'm going to remove that. And then that is when I will write down the problem that just happened, the feeling, the reaction that I just had, and then I analyze it a little bit and I wipe it out through a subconscious mind tape or an imaginal act. But can you revise that you never had relationships? I think if you can do whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. But I think that would be a big thing, in the sense of that's a huge movement to fix maybe some assumptions that are alive in you, if that's what you're talking about. You can do that. There's no problem. Nothing's right or wrong. You can go ahead and do that. But oftentimes it's something much smaller that just turns into a big thing, and that's when it becomes a problem. So I just want to say real quick, if you guys weren't tuned in from the beginning, I'm going to be on the radio on the 11th of October, which is totally awesome. I was invited by someone, and it's going to be on FM radio, but it'll also be on iHeartRadio. So you guys got to make sure that you check your emails from me, and then just, my social media and stuff will have a lot more of the information on that. Also, the Discord community for the VIP program is now active, which means that if you're a part of the VIP, you can go into the VIP dashboard and you can join the group. So then you can it's limited to only VIP, so that way it's not flooded with a ton of stuff. But it's going to be really awesome. You can even talk to Neville in there, which is you'll see what I mean if you go in there. But yeah, it's going to be really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. And yeah, the VIP is, the workshop, the specific person masterclass is going to be on Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day you sign up for. If you want to be a part of that, go and hit up the VIP thing. It's all good because it's just the same price as a regular workshop, but you get all this stuff. For now, it's probably going to go up. But for now, that's what it is. And I wanted to shout out to Moonchild, who's helped me out totally. Sam for helping me out with all this stuff. So his channel is in my description. He's awesome. And yeah, make sure you hit that like button. The like button is where it's at. Okay. So what else do we got here? How much wine did you drink? More than me, I see. Yes, I drank so much wine. No, not really. I don't drink. I haven't drank in years, or done anything for that matter. No mind or mood altering substances except for nicotine and coffee. Love my nicotine and coffee. If a person has opposite assumptions, and yeah, just in case you guys didn't know, to do that, it's vip.josephalley.com. Thanks, Joseph. How do we manifest can we manifest being taller? Yes, I answered that earlier on, Mary. If you want afterward, you can go back and it's near the beginning, actually. I think it's the first question asked. So, how do we know for sure if we have planted the seed? I keep getting asked this question. I keep answering it, so I'm just going to move forward from it. If I continuously feel nervous about the thing I'm trying to manifest, is it a sign that I did not plant my seed correctly? No, it's more of a sign that you have underlying issues that you're not addressing, and you're trying to cover it up with an imaginal act. So whether it be a belief, insecurity, fear, doubt, jealousy, you want to address those. Watch my video on lost art of assumptions, or destroying obsessive thoughts. That will really help you with that. How can we access the other unlisted videos? You forgot to put the links under them. You forgot to put the links under them. Under what? My specific person. Yeah, my curls. I don't know. May curls. Maybe that's how you say it. May curls. My specific person and I are friends. He's been round to mine. Okay, he's been at my house for dinner twice. We've gone for coffee, but we're friends, and I would like to get back into a relationship. You imagine the end, and then you remain calm. You remain present now. Don't always compare now to the end, otherwise you get anxious. So you do the scenes, and then you live naturally. They will go there. But if this is your first thing that you're trying to manifest, or one of the first, I would highly recommend also at the same time manifesting other things and keeping track of them so that you can always have a reference to how this is going to work, to know that it is going to work. That's my suggestion. Can fortune telling block the manifestation, or is it a sign? Fortune telling is just reading what you have set into motion, or your consciousness. So if someone tells you something negative, you will plant that seed and you will manifest the negative. Why does negative synchronicities happen when we are working through our fears? I've been doing it feeling good, yet it still happens. It makes me panic. The panic is what's continuing them. When we work out our fears, we will experience them. If you are working out your fears, then when they happen, it shouldn't be a shock because you're working them out, right? So what happens is if we address these problems in us, they may manifest again. But if we don't address them, they will always manifest. But if we do address them, they may manifest one more time. When they manifest, we must be non-reactive to it so that they never plant again. You got it, Lori. Can you talk more about scripting? How exactly are you supposed to write the scene past tense? Describe sounds and the place. Describe sounds and the place. Scripting, it depends. Scripting is a very general phrase. There's multiple types of scripting. There's journaling from the future as if it already happened. Like, for instance, I'm so grateful. And it's always concise. You list down what you want. All right. When you want something, always list it out only for the sake of knowing what you're going to imagine. You want to go as specific and as general as you want, which is what I explained it before. And when you do that, then you journal from the future, very concise, condensed, like dear journal or dear God, this is how I do it. Thank you for the whatever. Thank you for the whatever. I'm grateful that I received the whatever. And then it works. And then I sometimes I'll write that down and that's it. Sometimes I'll read it over and over like 5 times and that's it. That's it. Why things seem to get worse when I imagine. That's an extremely generic question. I would check out your assumptions. I would also check out what teachings you're listening to, all that stuff. Can we fix electronic devices with revision? Possibly. I mean, this laptop before wasn't turning on. It was like 11:30. I had just gotten back from getting my coffee and it was not turning on. So I was like, why? I was nervous because all my work is on here for the VIP, like all my programming stuff, like all this stuff. I was like, what's going on? So I just imagined that it was all good, that I was on my computer and it turned right on after that. But it wasn't turning on for about 15 minutes. Chris. But if it's a fear and I don't want it to happen and it's really bad, how can I stop it? I would honestly like, I'm not a certified psychologist. Like, I don't know what type of fears you're talking about, but the system goes like this. When we imagine a solution to a problem, if we have a suppressed fear or emotion in our mind, if we don't look at it, it will continuously manifest in different ways. It's a suppression, right? You can't hide from your own mind. You always bring it wherever you are. But if you continuously are seeing adverse effects like anxiety, fear, panic attacks, things like that, it's a very good sign of suppression or not dealing with something in a proper way, which means if we take the manifesting route, which is, like I said, I'm not a friggin' clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, so I just want to full disclaimer. But when we finally deal with that fear, if we look at it and we realize that it's not bad, we deal with it, we don't suppress it, then there is a chance that in a slight way it will manifest into reality. So if it manifests into reality and we don't react to it, then it will never manifest into reality again. But if we never face it, it will continuously cause havoc. So that's the system that I've seen. How do I manifest a specific person who is loyal, but I don't like how he looks like? I'm not fully sure what that means, but what I can say is write down a list of the person that you wish to experience. Write down the list of the person you wish to manifest. Label it husband, label it wife, label it whatever you want in a generic way, but a specific way. You don't have to give a name, but you list the traits exactly of the person that you wish to experience. And then after you do that, read it over and over and over again. This is what I would do. Now, I've done this without reading it over and over again. I did it inadvertently. That's how I discovered the list method. And it will manifest. Or you can read it over and over and it will definitely, you can be more comfortable with it manifesting from that point. Jacqueline. What's up, Jacqueline? I saw steps towards my manifestation happening. Things were going in the right direction, then stopped. This caused doubt. Do I take it as a bridge or do I start from scratch? You do not start from scratch. You just keep going to the end. And it happens. It's not always a straight line. Bridge of incidences are not always a straight line, right? But we have to know that. We have to be calm. We have to try to stay calm. You will not have ruined your manifestation for having doubt. You will just need to keep going to the end, but relax. And if there's any types of insecurities, fears, doubts, indecision inside of you, fix those. Watch the video on the subconscious mind tapes. It's like Warning, I think is the name of the video. And watch Obsessive Thoughts and watch Lost Art of Assumptions. It's good to talk to you, by the way. BB Sabina Spans. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. You're awesome. Are twin flame or soulmates real? I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that stuff because there's just no it's not really proof. You know, I've experienced things where some people I've had extremely intense connections with to the point where they could see through my eyes, like really mystical stuff. But I don't focus on that kind of stuff. Screen of space means this world. The screen of space means it's the screen of awareness. The screen of space. And it doesn't matter if you're not Christian or none of that stuff matters because it's not the teachings that I do are based on the Christian Bible because it's the most accurate when it comes to manifesting. But it doesn't matter if you believe in any of that stuff or not. It's just with that foundation, you will have the most power because of the way that it describes it. I feel like a lot of the world tries to purposely discount it. And so they come up with all these crazy theories as to how manifestation works. but none of them are accurate. Like they don't work properly. So when you go back to the foundation, it actually works every single time and it's already there. It's really funny to the length to which people go to try to discount that book, the Bible. But it is like, even for me, I discounted it for years, right? But I went through all the different teachings of the people trying to discount it, but none of them were accurate. It's always in the I am tense. It's always in the first person tense. I've had the mystical experiences that that Neville talks about, and it's like, if you want the most accurate, that's where you go, or you listen, right? Or you listen to me or Neville or something like that. All right, so yeah, you guys, I want to show you guys the Discord chat. Actually, I think I'm gonna see if I can pull that up. It's really cool. There are like there's a ton of different chats and stuff like that, or different chat rooms and stuff like that. So if you want to stay connected on a continuous basis, a daily basis with other manifestors, learn things, talk to Neville, and it's going to be really cool. So I'm just going to quickly pop this full screen if I can anyway. Scene, boom. So it's basically like, I mean, you're going to have some admin stuff in here, but so basically like there'll be a general discussion, off topic, specific person, money, health, I am discussions. There's going to be a lot of stuff, guys, and it's basically when you register for the VIP, it basically is just, you can just go right in. So totally cool stuff. And then the VI, I just want to say again, so there's the workshop, the specific person masterclass. I'm going to show you guys how to do that too real quick. Scene. You basically go to vip.josephali.com and then you would register, right? And that's free to register or whatever. You type in all your stuff, whatever you accept, blah, 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 blah. And then once you do that, you will, you can log in. And then you sign up for the specific person class right here, right? And let me just show you how to do the Discord thing, because I know there's some of you on here that are in the VIP right now. I don't have it loaded. It's all good. But basically what you'll do is you'll go to settings, you'll go to profile, and then down here, you go to Discord. You would subscribe to the Discord community, and it'll pop up. All the things will be set up. And you'll just be, next thing you'll do is you'll be in here and y'all could talk to me and each other and stuff like that on a regular basis. It'll be moderated. It is moderated. And so it's not going to have a lot of nonsense. It's going to be specific essence of manifesting, predictable, systematic ways. I also want to talk about something else that I've been thinking about lately, about just manifesting in general. So, you know, it has to do with the idea that everything that we experience is a manifestation. So I was writing down, I've been writing my book for a while, but I was outlining something yesterday. And when we manifesting itself goes, it essentially, how do I put this? If we forget something, if we know something and we forget something, we can manifest that we remember it. So we imagine that we remembered the solution. We imagine we remember where we put the vape. We imagine all that stuff. And then we will, after we stop doing it, right, we can't keep thinking about it. We have to drop it, which is another way to prove that we have to stop thinking about something to get it. But it'll pop into our head. Now, what if we don't know? What if we will never know? Then what happens is, it's like the external world is used to give us answers, right? So if we know something, the answer will pop into our head. If we don't know it, it's still going to pop into our head, but through an outside source. Whether you're digging through the internet, whether you stumble upon something when you're at a bookstore. Like the other day, something interesting happened. I was talking with Sam, and I was trying to explain something to him, but I quoted something, but I couldn't remember where I quoted it from. The next day, it was beating myself up over. I was like, why can't I remember? The next day, I went to the bookstore. Not the bookstore. I went to the, it's like a swap meet, right, in down here in San Diego. And I went to the book section, and I looked down, and the first book that I saw out of these used books, thousands of them, I accidentally looked down, It was the book that referenced the quote that I spoke to Sam about the day before. So, I've experienced this a lot of times before, but the idea is that our awareness external it's the same process that's going in internal. So when we imagine something that we know the answer to something, or that we receive something, either it pops into our head or we're moved to experience it. But in all cases, we must experience it. It must come to us. Meaning, if I desire something, if I imagine it properly, then it will come to me no matter what. I will go to it, because I am moved and the world is moved in harmony to bring us what we want, no matter what, in all cases. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Like, no matter what we do, the world is subject to us, and we are subject to our imagination. So essentially, the whole world is subject to our imagination. I just wanted to throw that out there. How do I convince myself to let go if I try to change bone structure? ASD, I already answered this question for you. You're making it harder by saying it's bone structure. I've already answered the question. It's just as easy as anything else. You are the only one in your own way by adding explanations like that. First, you said, I want to grow taller, right? And I gave you an answer. And then you said, well, yeah, but it's harder than that. Now I'm changing bone structure. And then now I answer that. And then you're going to say, but now I have to do this. You just imagine it. You're not supposed to be thinking. It's not thought from which we manifest. It's awareness. If we're looking at all those limitations, if we're looking from the human point of view, then we will never get what we want. But if we looked at it from the view of awareness, we will always get it. Mo, you rock. You helped me raise my manifestation power to the next level. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. What does it mean to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled? It means to imagine the end in first person point of view. What if we are having problems imagining? There are many ways to use your imagination, not just visualization. Imagination, contrary to common belief, does not mean visualization. Visualization is a subset of imagination or imaginal faculties. You can use inner hearing. You can use your visuals. You can write things down. Anything that in any way implies that something exists that isn't right now in the physical world, that is your imagination. And if we lack in imaginal faculties in some, we can make up for it in others. We can, so say I see in black and white in my visualizations, or say someone's face is fuzzy, make up for it by adding sound. Make up for it by adding knowing. All this together will add accuracy. How to manifest being more attracted to a person I've been with for years and want to stay with. You imagine that person telling you that you are more attractive, or that he is so attracted to you, or she is so attracted to you. Is the ultimate truth and shortcut to know that it is done? The confidence, insurance, and faith. Well, here's the thing, right? Whether or not you believe that it's going to happen, if you imagine properly, it doesn't matter if you just say, this doesn't work, and just walk away. You'll still get it, right? So it brings for a more peaceful life, though, to believe that it's done. And so that's why you should be testing this, like I always say, every day without fail. If you're a beginner, you should be in the immersive states of manifesting. There's noise going on outside. 10-second intermittent. What's it called? Intermittent. My brain is starting to shut out now from this. Hang on a second. All right, so I apologize if you hear noise out there. Nothing I can do about it. What was the most important thing in manifesting for you? What was the turning point? That's a great question. The turning point for me was not just saying I'm God, but actually understanding the process that I am actually awareness, looking at it from the perspective of awareness and not the perspective of Joseph Alai. That was probably the number one most power-giving thing, where now everything I do, I automatically understand that it's all going to happen. And the more applicable technique-wise things that changed everything were first person point of view every time, and always in the I am tense no matter what. 100% effective rate. If you can get down, some people have trouble with the I am. They feel like they're a liar or a fraud. You can work yourself up to the I am statement by first saying the term without the I am in front of it, such as if I'm going to say I am wealthy, if I feel like a liar, then I just say wealthy, 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 wealthy. Work yourself up to the I am state. Always use the I am tense. Always use the first person point of view, looking through your own eyes. Those were and then the perception of awareness. But here's the thing with the perception of awareness. It's not everyone's going to get this. Not everyone's going to get this, right? And I understand that, which is why I don't push it too hard, because it really there's 2 points of view for manifesting. There's the point of view of manifesting from this carnal world, where people say things like vibration and frequency. Those are the limiting manifestation perceptions. But then there's the perception from awareness, which is the one Neville Goddard alludes to. He doesn't teach it too directly, because I think he knew as well that it was hard for people to grasp the concept. But when you go from the perspective of awareness is manifesting, then things like vibration, frequency, none of that matters. And therefore, there is nothing required to manifest. And that's when I started getting all my power. Hi, Joseph. What do you mean by awareness? Does this mean present or future? Awareness, I'll break it down very quickly. You'll probably have to watch this like 4 times if you've never heard this concept before. But everything that we experience is done through our senses, right? Everything. It's either experienced through senses or thought. But all of that is known, right? It's all known. So knowing is the only reality. Awareness is what is aware of knowing. And so when we manifest, this whole vast world is a refraction from within the sphere of awareness. So meaning you step outside your senses, go past your senses and experience the world. You can't. And senses are all experienced. Experience is known, right? So the proof of this, that we are all inside awareness, that all that exists is awareness, and that this is all within awareness, and that if we are awareness, then that means that we are the creator, right? If we're all inside of awareness and we're made up of the same substance of awareness, right? So from the human perspective, there is mind and matter. From the perspective of awareness, all of that exists within awareness. So if all of that exists within awareness, then this body exists within awareness. Then my mind exists within awareness. And then that means that if I am made up of awareness, then I am God. And if I am God, then I can create like God. And if I can create like God, then the whole world must be subject to me. Then it doesn't matter if I am inside awareness, if you are inside awareness, then I am never sending you something through vibration. I'm never sending you something through frequency. Awareness is what this is all made up of. So the instant I imagine something, the whole world is made up of it. And so therefore, there's nothing that has to send or receive. It's an instant modification of the world through awareness. So that's what I mean by awareness. And I didn't explain that very well today. I'm pretty tired at this point, but I'll go more into that eventually. Should I through the day use my awareness to feel? Yeah, so instead of thoughts, right? You are not your thoughts. What is it that's observing your thoughts? That is awareness. That is God. So that is what you should be imagining from, not your thoughts, not your limitations. So basically, before you are saying, I still get what I don't even want, even though I'm trying to visualize and get what I want, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. So listen, isn't it wonderful? Is the same thing as why was it so easy? That technique, it just makes it come easy, whatever you say. Yeah, Amar, always use awareness. I mean, you always are using awareness, but try to perceive from awareness. Like we're all one, right? Try to perceive from the idea that we're all one. Everything in this world is one. There's no mind. There's no matter. Those aren't, I mean, there are, but those aren't the source cause, right? Love you, homie. Zelda's lullaby. Thank you so much for being a badass and for helping to remind me that I am one too. Yes, you are. You are simply the best around. Thank you so much. Oh, crap. I almost just closed out of the chat. I've been trying to manifest a scene for an online store. What would a scene look like for sales numbers or a lifestyle? Go for the lifestyle. Don't look at the numbers. If you go for the lifestyle, then the numbers must match them, right? So you go for the numbers. I mean, not the numbers. You go for the lifestyle after, and you have a conversation with someone about how you're so happy that you work remotely and have your successful online business. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. All right, y'all, I'm going to wrap this up now. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss any announcements real quick. So I'm going to check that out real quick just to make sure. Yeah. So yeah, again, guys, stay tuned for the radio thing. I'm gonna put out an announcement soon. You guys have to tune in on live radio, FM radio. This is like really cool and exciting. This is really big. This is gonna reach a lot of people. If you're having issues with the payment for VIP, I'm working on a PayPal solution, but Stripe is legit and secure. The workshop is going to be Saturday, specific person masterclass. Get in on that now before it's all sold out. It will be sold out probably right before the time that it starts, I'm assuming. So get signed up for that now. It's at vip.josephalley.com. Let's see what else. The VIP community, the Discord community, y'all saw that. That is legit and ready and waiting for you guys to join. I'm in there now. Neville's in there now. You'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, thank you, Imagination. Thank you, Moonchild. Hit the like button, absolutely. Also, comment on this after, not in the chat. Comment on it, it'll help as well. And I'll probably answer one more question, and then I'm bouncing out of here. And this is the question. There we go. How can you drop the desire of getting a job or money if you're short on money and constantly reminded? You want to, at nighttime, imagine your successful end to the best of your ability. And then it doesn't matter as much. Your thoughts throughout the day that are creative are of a less capacity of creation generally as your imaginal act at night. So I have been met with resistance thoughts during the day, even though I've imagined at night, and I still got my desires as long as I imagine in the best way possible. Yeah, Patty, you just got to log in, log into VIP, go to profile, and then at the bottom it says subscribe or join the Discord community or something. If you have issues, let me know. Obviously, you know how to reach me. So RT, I already answered that question. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. You guys are cool. You guys are cool. So thank you for banning him. Who was banned? Someone tell me who got banned. That's really funny. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's weird. My internet for the last 2 days have had a little technical issues. Thanks for sticking around. Make sure you check out yeah, Imagination. He's helped me a lot. Moonchild is awesome. And there's been a lot of work that's going into this VIP thing, so you guys can have a safe place to talk about manifesting and grow. As far as the Q&As that are in the VIP, so it goes, if you sign up for the workshop through the VIP, then you will also get the Q&A call in 2 weeks as well after the workshop. So do that. Daniela, thank you for doing the Polish version of that. Thank you. All right, guys, listen, enjoy your days, your evenings. I will be talking to you soon. I just want to say, thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you all for asking questions, answering questions. I mean, not answering, asking me questions to answer. And I really hope you guys like that VIP in the Discord because we've been working, I've been working around the clock on programming, and a lot of these, Imagination and Moonchild have been working a lot as well. So, thank you guys. I'm glad I've helped change your life, Erica. Bye, Patty. Later, guys.